Hey everybody, I have a lot of people worried about driving a rear-wheel drive car in the snow here in New England. So I wanted to make a video to kind of show a day in the life of what it's like to drive a rear-wheel drive E90 or an E92 in the winter. This car is a 2008 335i. It has the N54. It makes 350 wheel horsepower and 400 foot-pounds of torque. The tires are General Ultimax Arctic 12s. The car goes really good in the snow. I've had just about every drivetrain configuration car there is in the winter, and even mid-engine rear-wheel drive, and this car does just fine. So the first thing that I do actually is disable the traction control completely. It's a lot more fun for me without having any sort of intervention. The DTC system will actually use the throttle plate, and it'll shut the throttle plate, and it'll activate whatever corner brake the computer thinks it needs to keep you going straight and to keep you from getting sideways. It just kind of kills the fun for me, so I completely disable that. So one of the biggest differences with rear-wheel drive cars in the snow compared to front-wheel drive cars is actually how much you can steer the car using the throttle. So at first you have to be really patient with your throttle inputs. Starting from a standstill, you don't want to give it way too much gas because you just spin and spin, and then the ass end will kick out sideways. So what I'll do is I'll actually plant my heel down, and I'll kind of stick my big toe out, and I'll use that on the throttle pedal to give me some nice, smooth, precise throttle inputs until I get going and get some momentum. The entrance to the highway here wasn't really plowed yet, so the snow was really thick and choppy. I had to do my best to keep the steering wheel straight and kind of power through this section and make sure not to use any abrupt steering inputs or brake or gas until I could chop through all this snow and get onto the highway. So on this trip I averaged about 60 to 70 miles an hour the whole time, which is really good considering the conditions. On the highway, the left lane here wasn't plowed, so I had to be really careful and kind of follow the tracks that this coffee truck made in front of me, this delivery truck. So he made these nice deep grooves in the snow, so I'd kind of keep a safe distance behind him and basically ride that out the whole way. The name of the game is just being really smooth on the highway and making sure not to go too far left in the left lane or too far right in the right lane, because the crown of the road, if you're on the edges, the snow will try to pull you into the guardrail. So you have to be really careful and kind of ride as close to the dotted lines in the middle as possible. So here in Maine we get about 60 to 70 inches of snow on the coast, and then 70 to 110 inches of snow annually. This storm in particular, I think the most we got in my area was like 16 inches. So it was definitely a pretty decent storm. I think it's the best one that we had in 2019. We had a couple other smaller ones before that, but nothing really crazy. So you can see that the car gets through the snow just fine, 60, 70 miles an hour. Even past a lot of big trucks, like lifted trucks with knobby tires on it and stuff like that. It's just a matter of being really, really smooth, having some patience when you go from the start, and just maintaining some good momentum, and you can get around just fine. So the next storm that we get, I'm going to make a video kind of showing some more drifting and fun stuff, some more techniques on that. But I just wanted to show, like, in case somebody's moving to an area like this and they have a rear-wheel drive BMW and they think that they need to sell it and get an all-wheel drive vehicle, that's not true. You can get around just fine.